Hi, I'm Jason Gorber here at thatshelf.com, and we're here to talk about Noah Baumbach's extraordinary film, Marriage Story. It got its attention way back when it did its festival run in September. I'm here at the Los Cabos Film Festival at the southern tip of Baja in Mexico, where it's playing to crowds that are really enjoying it here as well. It's a film about divorce, it's a film about relationships, and a film, frankly, about growing up. It has incredible performances, particularly by the two leads, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. But you also have some phenomenal roles, additional members of the ensemble that really bring it all together. Alan Alda makes one of these shattering appearances that he always manages to do, this beautiful mix of empathy and humor and darkness. You have Ray Liotta playing this sort of completely smarmy lawyer. It's fantastic. But as it all plays out, really it's the story of these two creative people and the struggles that they have to actually make their careers and their lives sort of gel. It's a very New York versus LA story. The way it's told is obviously very reminiscent of Woody Allen, but specifically Woody Allen, who's echoing Bergman. And so you have these sort of art house slash sort of straight up Scandinavian relationship elements, but also because they're actors, because these are two extraordinary stars in these big, who often do these big blockbuster films, you have this nice collision between the sort of small intimacy of experimental theater in New York and the sort of bigger, broader stuff of Hollywood. Because of how that plays out and because of all the relationship dynamics and the way that everything actually sort of coalesces, this really is a film that has enormous depth, enormous heart, enormous impact. And I mean, it's premature to say, even after all of these things have actually played out, but I, for one, would not be surprised if the film's producer, which happens to be Netflix, really pushed this one come the end of year award season as their sort of big, prominent project. I love Irishman. I think Irishman's absolutely phenomenal and one of the great films of 2019, which is an extraordinary year for cinema. But nonetheless, Irishman's a little bit divisive, a little bit long, and people aren't completely and unadulteratedly embracing it. Whereas Marriage Story, I think, really does speak to not only a broader audience, but specifically an Academy audience. I mean, who in Hollywood hasn't had some of these? Anybody who has ever been in a long-term relationship hasn't had the sort of discussions and arguments that play out whether or not you stay together or you don't. This very much feels like something that is completely in keeping with just everyday human communication. Baumbach often has this sort of these twee elements, especially when he actually incorporates some of those aspects within the Wes Anderson sort of universe. But it's certainly divorce is something that he's mined many times before. Squid and the Whale comes to mind immediately, but nonetheless this one feels not only very much in keeping with the work that he's actually done in the past, but very much a maturation of his talent. It's directed just with incredible precision and impact. The performances just absolutely leap off the screen, and even when the film is at its most gratuitous, when you have somebody like Adam Driver singing Sondheim, which should feel preposterous and inane, it absolutely feels in keeping with a character who in New York would sort of want to show off to the people that are part of his ensemble. When you have Scarlett Johansson sort of feeling misbegotten, feeling that she's been pushed aside, it doesn't feel sort of shrill or uninteresting. It feels absolutely what her character would feel at that point in time. It feels absolutely human, as opposed to some sort of melodramatic nonsense that these films often propagate in. So basically, as it all comes together, you have a film that just absolutely leaves you wrecked, but it does so in a very intelligent way. It's like intelligent melodrama. It's a relationship film truly that's designed for it to have impact. It is beautifully photographed, it's beautifully performed, and even though the majority of people will unfortunately or fortunately get a chance to see it at home when it actually streams, it does have true widescreen cinematic impact. There's something to be said about these very intimate emotions being spread on a larger-than-life canvas. So Marriage Story, truly one of the great films of a great film year, Noah Baumbach's latest, and it's playing here at the Los Cabos Film Festival. Cheers.